Running totals is super simple in Tableau. For example, knowing how much you've sold day to day is great, but we also want to know how many we've sold this week or this month. Visualizing this growth over time is a skill you need to master in order to become an effective analyst. Luckily, only takes a few clicks. In this video, I'm going to talk about the running total calculation. And running total is really simple to understand. Let me show you how it works. So I have an example here of sales over time. And what this tells me is that on this first day, I made $5, and then 6, and then 4, then 8, and then 6. How much did I make at the end of the week? Right? That is not shown here. So what I would have to do is I would have to add them up as I go along the week. Okay. So don't worry how I'm doing this in Excel, right? But basically at the first day I made 5. By the second day I made these two together. By the third day I made these 3 together. Fourth day, these ones, and then by the fifth day you've got everything in there. So this shows me total accumulated over time how much money I have made, right? So that is the running total. So let me show you how you do that in Tableau. And what I did just kind of before I started recording, I just got rid of some of the sheets. So if you ever wanted to get rid of a sheet, you simply right click and just go delete. All right, so we've got a blank one here. And what I want to do is I want to do a time series, right? So a time line chart. Okay, sometimes I call it time series. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in profit. So double click. Okay, so we've got our profit right there. And we're going to bring in the order date. So I'm going to double click this. Okay, and now we have the order date. It's getting a little itchy. So order date. And then what we're going to do is I want to increase the granularity. So I want to go from years into quarters. So again, we can press this little plus symbol, and that now gives it to me by quarters. All right, pretty cool. The next thing we're going to add is some labels. So just this letter T here. This is kind of a shortcut to just put all the labels on automatically. So it's good for like if you don't want to do all the formatting and stuff just yet, you can just press that button to kind of see what things are going to look like. Okay, so now we have the values over time. Great. If I wanted to do a running total, which is basically, let's say if I pick, what is the running value here? You're adding up this plus this plus this plus this up until that point. Okay. If I say, what's the running total here? Well, then I'm adding all these up individually, all these up, all these ones individually, and basically keep going until the date I'm interested in. So if we wanted to do it for the whole data set, we simply right click the measure. We go quick table calculation, and then you press running total. And you can see now it's actually totaled it up all the way to the end of our data set. So we started with $5,500 in the first day. By first quarter. By the second quarter, we have a total of 14,000. By the third, we have 30. By the fourth, we have 55, and so on, all the way until almost 300,000 by the end of our data set. Now let's say I want to see our running total every year. All right, because really I'm assessing how we're performing year on year. So the way we do that is we simply tell Tableau where to start and finish. All right, so the way you do it is you right click on the profit, compute using, and here in these settings you have table, pane, you got a few versions for pane, cell, and then you can ignore anything else. Really what we're interested in for now is table, pane, and cell. So what are their differences? If I select pane, watch what happens. What the pane does is it looks at it at each individual section, right? And then it starts again. Another section, start again, it's another section, and start again, and another section. And what this is telling me is I can now compare year to year that from 2019 to 2020, yeah, we took a little bit of a dip, but not too bad. It wasn't until we hit 2021 and then we just smashed it, right? And I can actually look at, wow, look at that first quarter comparison, right? I can see that I doubled what we had in 2018. So that is, how easy it is to really do running total. So let's look at the very last option, compute using, and let's ignore these. I'll explain these in a second. Let's go cell. So what is cell? Well, if this is the table and this individual one is the pane, well, really what the cell refers to is the individual points themselves, right? So applying a running total onto itself really just gives you the value of itself, right? So why would you want this option? Well, the cell function operates differently for different situations. So you'll see us use that later on in the course. But for now, when you're doing running totals, you're really looking at much larger scales of the data. Okay, what next? So let me just go in here and make sure we haven't left anything. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is really just clear it. So let's say I didn't want to have a running total anymore. I can just go clear table calculation, right? And you can see it's exactly the same because cell is equivalent to just the sum of profit, right? Because you're applying it on individual points. So that's it for this video, and I'm going to cover the other type of running total in the next one.